have a look at some more advanced things we can do within our text frames. From here, I'm going to go up to View, and let's choose to fit the spread to window. And let's go over to this first page. I want to hit Command and the plus sign and zoom in a couple of times. Whoop, there we go. And just zoom over till I can see this nice and centered. With our our regular selection tool, the black arrow, let's select this text box, and we want to turn it into 3 columns. Columns can be found in a variety of different places, but for now, let's go up to Object and open our text frame options. Inside of the text frame options, this is where we can give it a specific number of columns. From here, let's set the number to 3, and the space in between it is going to be the gutter, and we'll keep it at 0.125. From here, we can say OK, and you can see this divide this nicely into 3 different columns from here. Now by default, the text that we have flows naturally, so whenever it reaches the end of our text box, that's when it starts a new column at the top. If you wanted to tell the text to break at a specific point, let's choose our Type tool, and I want it to start foxglove on a new different column area. So I'm going to place my insertion point right at the beginning of the word foxglove. Notice that we have our hidden characters turned on and visible. So if you don't have yours turned on, you can go to Type and make sure you can show your hidden characters. With our insertion point at the beginning of foxglove, we want to insert a break character. So choose Type, go down to break character, and let's do a column break. Notice that this puts a special character here and will automatically put everything after that to the very tip top. Let's do the same thing for crocus. Put it at the beginning of this word. Again, go to Type, and let's insert a break character of a column break. And that'll put that at the very top as well. Let's go back up to Type and hide our hidden characters so we can see it the way it's intended. And then one more time, let's do Command and 0, and that'll back out so we can see our entire page. Now let's scooch over to this right-hand page. We'll go up to our Layers panel and let's unlock the graphics layer. With this done, we can zoom in so we can see this Urban Oasis Garden Spring text box that we want to fix. There we go. With this object selected, we want to be able to center up this text inside of this area. Also, we want to be able to push it over so that it's aligned a little bit better. So with the box selected, let's go up to our text frame options one more time. Object, text frame options. With preview turned on, you can see all of these changes being made. We want to set the inset spacing so that it's moved over from the left-hand side. So make sure the inset spacing has no link turned on. We'll set the left alignment to 2, and when we hit Tab, you can see how it's tabbed over and moved to this side. Additionally, let's set some inset spacing for this right-hand side. The right side will be 0.625. We'll say OK to it. It didn't move anything over. One more time, let's go to Object and open up my text frame box. I shouldn't have done that. The next thing we want to do is to set our vertical justification to be nice and centered. Now it's centered inside of our text box. Now with that done, we can say OK to close out our text box. We want the words Spring 2024 to be over here at the far right-hand side. To automatically place text tabbed over to that side, let's use our Type tool and put our insertion point right here at the beginning of the word Spring. Then we can go to Type, and let's insert a special character. In this case, it's going to be an other character of a right indent tab. With that done, anything that's out or after this one is automatically indented to the right. We'll deselect everything by going up to Edit and deselect all. There it is. And let's also go to File and Save while we're thinking about it. Let's now add our little logo up here at the very top. One more time, go to your Layers panel. Let's lock down the text layer. We're going to add this logo to the graphics layer. To add a graphic, we'll choose our rectangle frame tool, and then up here at the very top, we're going to simply click and drag to add a frame to this very top particular corner. If you need to adjust the size of it, remember you can press the V key and we can drag it in so that it fits nicely inside of this area. To place the graphic with the frame still selected, let's go to File, down to Place. Make sure you're inside the correct folder. So I'm in Lesson 4. Here's the Links folder. And let's locate the Urban Oasis logo. There it is here as a vector file. We'll say Open, and it'll place nice here and inside the center. Now notice that when it's placed, we can't see the entire logo, but also notice that it has kind of a jagged edge. Even though this is a vector graphic, by default, InDesign is displaying this graphic as a screen quality graphic. If necessary, you want to see it full quality, you can go to View, down to Display Performance, and choose High Quality Display. This will change it to a nice, smooth graphic. Now, of course, we can't see our entire logo, so with our Selection tool, let's click on the bottom right corner, and if you click and hold and drag out, this will show you what the object looks like before you actually click and drag out to see the entire thing. So here we are, we can click and drag and see the entire thing until the entire thing fits inside of our nice text frame or our graphics frame that we have. Finally, to make sure it fits so it doesn't cover up our words, we're going to click on the inside center portion of it, grab our little content grabber, and let's simply drag it over until it fits nicely inside the frame, but also doesn't cover up the word urban. From here, let's go to File and let's save what we're working on. Let's also scroll down and to the left here, and let's place the logo underneath the little return address. With nothing selected, I've deselected everything. I can go to File and Place. And once again, let's choose the Urban Oasis logo. We'll say Open. Now, with no text frame selected, it's going to follow your cursor, and let's click and drag inside of our little guided area, and it'll automatically create a frame for us. Later on, we'll come back and we'll rotate this image into place. Next, let's place multiple graphics inside of a grid of a frame. We'll go back up to View and let's fit our spread to our window. I'm going to start this grid simply by selecting all of our pictures. So let's go to File and Place. We'll select the rows and then hold down the Shift key. Hold down the Shift key as you click on 06 and get the calla lily. With all 6 of these images selected, we'll say Open, and remember they're going to follow your cursor. I'm going to carefully place my cursor beside the word Featured Blossoms up here at the very top of the margin area. Now when you click and drag, keep your mouse held down. When you hold the Shift key, this will allow you to freeform and place it whatever size you want it to be. We want to be able to fill out this entire area, so I'm going to click and drag until it's just above the list of the different ones. Then, with my mouse still held down, I'm going to hit the up arrow on my keyboard once and my right arrow twice, and this will divide it into 3 columns and 2 rows. Now when I let go of my mouse, you can see how it automatically places each one inside of that structure. That makes it a great, simple way to easily place everything inside of your area. If you need to, you can do Command and the plus sign to zoom in so you can see a little bit better. And also necessary, now that you've let go, you can use your arrow keys on your keyboard to nudge things up and into place to the top or the bottom side. Since each of these images is inside of a square area, let's make these images fill out the area a little bit better. With my black arrow selection tool, I'm going to zoom in to this one at the very top right-hand side. Carefully click on the content grabber. I'm going to deselect it. There we go. Click on the content grabber to get just the picture inside of this text frame. To make it larger, hold down the Shift key as you click on the top edge and drag up. That'll proportionally scale it as you scale upwards. Let's do the same, clicking on the bottom and dragging downward. As long as the Shift key is held, you should be able to proportionally scale it. Let's do the same for the one next to it. Clicking on the content grabber just to get the inside of it, hold down the Shift key and click on the left edge and it will scale up. Hold down the Shift key and click on the right, and it'll scale up as well too. Now, if you accidentally let go of your Shift key first, you can see how it's going to start to distort it, and it won't stretch the height of it as well. Now, you can do that same technique for other stuff as well, but there's some faster ways of doing it. If you choose the roses, to get it to automatically fit, you can go to Object, down to Fitting, and choose to Fit Frame Proportionally. And that'll automatically size everything up. Again, if you wanted to do it to the others, I'm going to zoom down and choose it, Object, Fitting, Fit Frame Proportionally. A final way that you can easily do this is by right-clicking or control-clicking on an object or a frame. There we go. And from here you can find Fitting and fit the frame proportionally too. Whoops, it does help to make sure it's selected. There it goes. Let's do the same for this last one. Finally, to add a little bit more interest, let's change the gaps in between all of these. To do this, you can use a special tool known as the Gap tool. With the Gap tool, it automatically recognizes spacing between multiple objects. Now, by default, it's recognizing the gap between all 6 of these images. So if I was to click and drag, you can see how it'll automatically resize all of those. If you hold the Shift key, however, it'll only recognize the gap between these 2 objects. And now I can click and drag and readjust the size and spacing between those 2. Let's drag it downward till it works right there. That's a great way to be able to resize the content that you have without having to move around multiple objects. I'm going to add a little bit more space between all of these. So I'm going to use my selection tool and click and drag over the top 3 objects that are up here at the very top. To move them up ever so slightly, let's go up to our control panel at the very top and let's choose this bottom left corner. We're going to change their Y value by clicking at the very end of it, and let's subtract away 0.0625. When I hit return or enter, that'll automatically nudge everything upward by subtracting it away from their Y value. The last thing we want to do to all 6 of these images is add their little description down below them. So one more time with your selection tool, let's click and drag over all 6 of the images to select all 6 of them. To find the metadata and to add the captions, go to your links panel, choose the link options, and then choose captions down at the bottom. Let's enter the caption setup. Captions gives you the ability to automatically add a text box below your picture, and it uses whatever data is saved inside of your picture. To do this, let's set the text before to be nothing. So I've deleted away that text. Inside the metadata, let's find the descriptions panel. You may have to scroll up to be able to find it. There's description there. And for the text after, we're going to type the word flower. Under the very bottom, we're going to set the text alignment to be before the image, but we'll set the offset to be 0.02. The paragraph style is going to be the photo caption, which is already set up for us. There it is there. And it's going to be on the same layer as the image. Finally, when we say OK, to get it to create the text box now, we can return to our links panel, open up the options, captions, and choose Generate Static Captions. Notice that this automatically puts the text box below everything. Those are looking great, so let's go to File. If you haven't done so, let's go ahead and save our document that we're working on.